Click on subscribe button and press bell icon to get latest update on my upcoming videos. We all love historical photographs, especially photos that are rare. You could say there are two kinds of only existing photographs. One is a one-time event or incident where only one image is captured by one camera. The other has to do with the time period involved when cameras were a rarity, or maybe because all other existing photos have been lost or destroyed. This list relates the 10 fascinating only no photos. Albert Einstein, working on his theory of relativity. In 1934, 400 lucky students in Pittsburgh watched as Albert Einstein mathematically derived his famous Massenergy equivalence equation, E equals mc square. What you see is the only surviving photo from that lecture. It was pulled from a halftone newspaper clipping by David Topper and Dwight Vincent of the University of Winnipeg, who discovered it in 2007. The famous equation is on the blackboard to the right. Billy the Kid with the Lincoln County Regulators. There is only one known photo of Billy the Kid, William Henry McCarty, Jr. It was authenticated until October 2015, when a second photograph of the outlaw was verified as authentic. It was bought for $2 at a Fresno junk shop 7 years ago and could be worth $5 million. The 4x5-inch tintype shows the Kid and several members of the Lincoln County Regulators playing croquet with friends, family, and significant others in the summer of 1878. Jeff Aiello, executive director of the documentary entitled Billy the Kid: New Evidence, says this is the first photograph ever discovered of Billy the Kid with regulators. One of 272 Georgetown University slaves who were sold to the state of Louisiana. In 1838, Georgetown University in Washington, D.C. sold off 272 human beings to the state of Louisiana to wiggle itself out of debt. The mass sale of the men, women, and children was especially troubling, even at that time. Two Georgetown Jesuit presidents negotiated the transaction that earned the college $3.3 million in today's dollars and used about $500,000 of it to settle Georgetown's debts. The photo is the only known photo of a man named Frank Campbell, who was one of the 272. Campbell was enslaved on a Jesuit plantation in Maryland. In 1838 he was shipped to a sugar plantation in Louisiana along with many others who were sold to raise money for the university. Father of the Delta Blues. Charlie Patton is considered by many to be the father of the Delta Blues, and this 1929 Paramount promotional still is the only known photo of him. Patton would sometimes hold the guitar on his lap and play it like a zither, as seen here. His wardrobe caught the eye of historian David Evans. Patton's collar and lapel are curiously hiked up on his left side, which may have hidden the scar on his neck from a near-fatal razor attack. George and Willie Muse. George and Willie Muse were abducted from Truvine, Virginia, and forced into the circus. The brothers, albinos born of African-American parents, were falsely told that their mother was dead and that they would never be returning home. While there are many photos of the brothers, this is the only known photo of George and Willie with one of their captors, showman Al G. Barnes of Ringling Brothers and Barnum and Bailey Circus. In 1927, while visiting their hometown, their mother finally tracked them down and threatened to sue the circus. The Muse brothers were freed before returning to show business on their own terms a year later. Marilyn Monroe, President Kennedy, and brother Bobby Kennedy together. Photo above, of actress Marilyn Monroe, then President John F. Kennedy and brother Bobby Kennedy, was taken in May 1962 after Monroe's famous Happy Birthday serenade to the President. Filmmaker Kia Morgan owns the original and says, there is no other known photo of Bobby Kennedy with Marilyn or JFK with Marilyn, and it's not because they were never photographed together. In fact, they were photographed together many times, but the Secret Service and the FBI confiscated every single photograph. El Santo unmasked. Rodolfo Guzman Huerta is arguably one of the most famous men in the history of Mexico, and yet, few people know his name and even fewer know his face. The silver-faced luchador, known as El Santo, had only once partially removed his mask while in public, during an appearance on Contrapunto, a popular Mexican talk show. The above photo is the only known image of El Santo unmasked. Jocelyn Gordon Whitehead. This is the only known photo of Jocelyn Gordon Whitehead, the McGill University student who dealt the fatal blow to magician Harry Houdini in his dressing room at the Princess Theatre in Montreal on October 22, 1926. Whitehead's blows to Houdini's abdomen either started, contributed, or covered up the appendicitis that would take Houdini's life 9 days. Later on Halloween, Whitehead, who is holding a book, had a strange history with them. He gained access to Houdini's dressing room with the claim of returning a borrowed book and was also charged with shoplifting books twice in 1928. He died a recluse and hoarder in 1954. Colonel Ichabod Crane. While author Washington Irving did not readily admit that the lead character in the legend of Sleepy Hollow was named after Colonel Ichabod Crane, the two men had met before. They both served at Fort Pike, Lake Ontario in Sackett's Harbor, New York. Irving was an aide-de-camp to New York Gov. Daniel D. Tompkins at the time. John Willis Menard. This is the only known photo of John Willis Menard, the first African-American man elected to the U.S. Congress. Menard won a special election for a House seat in Louisiana, representing New Orleans in 1868, but was challenged by his opponent, Caleb Hunt. He went before the House of Representatives to appeal his win and was the first black person to address the House of Representatives. Menard was considered unqualified and never took his seat. The position remained vacant until the next election.